Mississauga, Ontario, Sandi Anderson from Winnipeg, McLachlan bowled a 316 and a 318. Sandi Anderson in her 12th appearance at 233 and a 225 to advance. Strike up here in 3. Oh, how she wrapped that around and then didn't get the string.
Tough break on that one. Through the textbook strike in 2. Throws a good shot here. The ball crosses over, gets a nice hit, and somehow everything goes around that right corner. So a 3-pin advantage through the first 2 frames for Barbra McLachlan. Opportunity to keep a mark. And will not be able to do this. It comes out of the right side, bounces back into the field of play and takes a pin out. That does not count. We'll have to get that pin respotted, and she will use her 3rd shot in an attempt to garner 15 points. So it just kind of went down there and just flipped itself back on the lane. They'll re-rack the right corner, and she'll have an open frame in the 3rd.
You talked about somehow, you know, when money gets more and you start to tighten up. Now, here's McLachlan, as we say, coming off those 2 wonderful games, as good as we've seen in a long time. Do you know, or have you in your travels, your experience, known anybody not to tighten up?
Everybody feels that pressure in some way. Some guys, you know, some people, when you stand there and roll the ball, it's just a matter of, you know what, if you know what your tendency is when you start to feel pressure and you realize that this is the thing I'm most likely to do, I'm going to throw faster to avoid that. Or I'm going to slow down to avoid speeding up because I know that's my tendency. Players at this level do understand what their tendency is when the pressure starts to build a little bit. Whether they can control it or not is a different story. But they do realize that, you know what, my feet get fast. I need to slow down. In the bios and stuff you saw, I like to have a song playing in my head. I like to have, you know, slow first step.
Got 2, she does. So a better start for Sandi Anderson. 3 strikes in the first 4 frames.
And that's what she needed to do here. Barb opening up the 3rd. Sandi capitalizes, throwing strikes in 3 and now 4. Put a little pressure on Barbra McLachlan, something that she has yet to face too much of. She's been bowling along so well, 316, 318. She's just been on cruise control.
That's a good recovery for Barb. Now just needs to put something together here. Stuttering kind of start. Open, strike, open, now a strike in 4.
Great answer with this shot. Come back with that one. Now, here's the lane that's posed a little problem for her. Stubborn right corner in 3. Bad shot in the 1st when she just punched the right 3-pin out. Lays it down again, and this time the right 3-pin again. So as you say, just that stutter step or kangaroo kind of game, just hopping from even lane to even lane are good ones. Here's the lane she's struggled on.
And it does get in your head, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, good spare.
Good
Very
recovery.
Good spare.
That'll help her as she sits down. Says, I managed to cover the spare off there on a dumb shot. Made the good shot to convert the spare and lead off the 5th.
But if Sandi can put another strike, a 3rd one here, I mean, her score will explode.
And so she does. So 4 out of the first 5 frames, Sandi Anderson has rolled strikes. The sole miscue back in the 2nd, she punched a head pin, but she did pick up all the wood. Gets ready to set it out on the lane. Good lift on it, and a great result.
Wow. Hard to believe it's the same Sandi Anderson.
She couldn't have scripted this any better. How would you like to get out against this Barb McLachlan, who's been bowling so well. What do you want to do against her? Just keep me in the match early. Let me get on a little string of strikes. Let me throw some pressure at her and see what she can do. Good reach, a little full on the middle. Good count on the spare. Brings her total up to 114 through 5 frames. Had trouble back in the third converting the right corner. Rectifies it this time. So just 2 strikes thus far in the second and the fourth for Barb McLachlan.
Just her second strike. She had 1 and 2. Pardon me, she's got this as her third. She had 1 and 2, 1 and 4, and now 1 and 7.
She says, yes, this is a good shot. She put it exactly where she wanted, got the result. Sandi Anderson, though, 1 more strike here. She just jumps that pinfall up again. Good count, 43. That gives her a 59 pin advantage through the first 5 frames. Still working on a strike here in 6. Needs to convert the spare. And she'll hold that 59 pin advantage through 6 frames. So a great conversion keeps the game alive. Watch for the good lift. Couldn't quite coax that one up there. Counts 20 in the 7th frame.
And that's the first time she's missed a head pin.
That's her first miss on the middle.
Wow.
Exactly. Can't quit yet. Good kick back off the wall for the spare.
Very nice. Sandi's husband, Jim. You bet. Like what I'm seeing. Yep.
180 pins remain for Barb McLachlan. A 324 game if she can take this off the page. That's one of them.
Dan Hamilton. Here and cheering on Barb.
He looks more nervous than she does. Here's where the experience comes in. Doesn't rush to get up there, doesn't hurry the shot, knows that she's working on 2 strikes, can really, really get back in the match right here.
Oh my! Off the wall with the butt of the pin, taking it out in the left corner.
Good things happen when you hit the middle. She lifts it up, she knows she's got it right around where she wants it, hits it right in the pocket, and then gets the great kickback off the left wall. 3 strikes in a row.
Anderson.
Get up there.
Yes, what a response.
Here we go, possible 343 game if she can finish off the 10th frame. That would shut Barb McLachlan out.
What a terrific game she's had. Look at that, just the one open when she hit the head pin in 2.
Yeah, and they 1 mistake in 8. So there's her 2 mistakes in the game thus far.
Come on.
Oh, great action.
Right now, that's moved her by Holly Schakowsky for the Team Prairie's Team 2. So in the Baker format match, later on, Sandi has moved ahead there. Double working a 298 game right now. Oh, squeezes that one. 328 right now without throwing a shot. The best Barb can do is 324. Wow. Sandi Anderson advances.
Sandi Anderson, after bowling a 233 and a 225 and just squeaking out that win over Shelley McDonald from Charlottetown. Look what she comes back with here.
Match play, match play, match play. I think she was really ready for this one.
Oh my, what a great finish. What a terrific game. Sandi Anderson, a 343.
Team Prairie's Tracy Anseth, 346. Sandi Anderson, 343.
And Michelle Johnstone will have a chance with her final game, with her game against Tammie Herman, to possibly take that spot as well, or one of those two.
And Barb right now sitting at a 279 pace without throwing a shot. She can bowl 324 yet. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be enough this time. She'd improve every game. 316, 318, possibly 324, and this time not be enough. 309 plus the count on this shot. A fantastic game and a huge comeback. The right corner back in 3. Very expensive right now.
And there's 2 opens, and then she throws the last one away. We'll finish at 314. Sandi Anderson with the 1 open that comes early. Then she rattled off the 4 strikes, survived a couple of spares, and then rattled off 4 more. And she'll advance to play for the $10,000 first prize. Sandi Anderson. Tammie Herman from Maple Ridge, BC. Michelle Johnstone from Regina. One of these two will move on to play Sandi Anderson for the $10,000 first prize in women's 5-pin play, the Canadian Bowling Championships. 43 count through 2 for Tammie with a spare and then a 15 count. And now she punches the head pin.
So both bowlers right now in the early going struggling a little bit to find the good shot, the good line down the lane that'll place the ball in the pocket. Tammie a miscue back in 2 by missing that right corner.
No ball.
And just hands the opportunity back to Michelle Johnstone now. Okay, just 10 count. So an expensive couple of frames.
Oh boy.
Okay, match is going to be all even through 3 pretty well. Pick up some sticks here. She counted 12 on her last head pin. And looks like she might be in the same range on this one. This is where you have to have the mindset that your opponent just gave you an opportunity to pick up some pins on her. And if you don't take advantage of it, well, shame on you.
Yeah.
And now you just gave them back, which even compounded the error more.
That's a 7 count for a 39. That's better. It's a unique ability. I don't care what the sport is. Somebody who relishes being in this situation, whether it be the person on the end of the bench that the coach puts on the ice, or who, in this situation, wants to be here and face this.
Exactly. The Michael Jordan shot. Who do you want? I want the ball when there's 2 seconds left, and I'll put it up.
Back-to-back head pins.
So you got to do the work now. Pick up the sticks. Your opponent has a strike working.
As you saw there, she beat Tracy Anseth. Anseth, a great resume, former 2-time winner, back-to-back winner of the TSN Pins game.
And now 5 pins remain. 68 through 4 frames.
It's a nice job to get all the pins, and they may come back to be a difference. You'd hate to think if I only gotten that 15 back in 4, but it is now Michelle Johnstone, advantage to her. She has a strike up in 4. That's it. A more deliberate approach, deliberate throw by Tammie Herman pays off with the strike.
Good shot on this one. She just cranked it over a little bit, and now she's saying, hurry, stay on the outside. Gets the full shot. Big one here to answer back.
Michelle Johnstone puts up back-to-back strikes as she gets the mark in 5.
She rolls this one in. Her second strike now, working on the foundation one that she has in 4. Gets the pinfall back. They're pretty much dead even at this point.
Oh, wow.
Moves it onto her side.
Found a mark now. That's 3. She's on a roll, Johnstone.
Now here's where it gets a little confusing for Tammie. If she didn't make an adjustment in 5, she went head pin, strike. Her opponent's got 3 in a row. She needs to come in here. She made the adjustment. She did it at the right time. If it was just a shot that she managed to hang on to long enough and it just got there, no, you get this result.
Yeah, that's 3. That's 3 head pins now in 4 frames.
And now she definitely has to do something. She's got to make some type of adjustment, get off that right on the nose shot, keep punching that head pin out. You'll go down in a hurry.
No, she just punches the 3 through. That's where I said to you on a previous week, the adjustment is boards, moving left or right, or is it the wrist? Is it where you release the ball?
Some bowlers will move up on the approach a little bit, which causes them to slow down because the approach is a little shorter. The ball will track over a little quicker. Some people recognize that they haven't thrown their best ball, but they've punched. Other people, it's squeezing it a little bit. I gotta just loosen that grip up. I gotta be, it's like getting on that narrow fairway. First thing you want to do, right, is tighten your grip. And it's not gonna work. Gets a break out of this one. Opportunity for a spare.
Tammie's husband, Bob, former Pins game champion. We'll see Bob in men's play in a few weeks.
She was leaning on that one, managed to carry it.
Brought it back.
Now Michelle, we'll watch for her not speeding up.
We've gotten to know Mr. Johnstone very well. Richard Johnstone, that's Michelle's dad, been her biggest fan.
Big count on that one, gives her the 43 back through 5. Her lead now through the first 5 frames, 36 pins. An opportunity to add some more to it here. With the conversion now, she has 157 through 6 frames compared with Tammie's 104. Both ladies, spares working in 7. Michelle to lead off as we approach the close of the game.
Oh, good. Looked like she might get caught on that left corner, but pin spun over.
throwing a much easier ball. It's rolling so much nicer, and she's getting the carry. This one tracks down the lane. Good lift on it. The arm stays up a whole lot longer. Remember how we saw that the other week where she started dropping it? Yeah, you got to answer back with that.
Just her second strike of the game, Tammie Herman.
Down by 53 pins. Matches up strikes in 8. And now sets it up with the 9th. Still an opportunity here. She's got a possible 269.
Wow.
Nice adjustment.
Very nice. Really was full, though. And you can see the look over to Bob and go, what are you supposed to do? I'm getting it now, of all times.
Well, that was the big shot because she got the double working now in 8 and 9 and got that foundation strike in the 9th. Michelle still has to work here.
Oh, that's a break.
No string.
Bad break for Michelle. Good break for Tammie. That's good cover.
Good conversion. She's taking a little bit more time here. Oh, flung that one way off to the left, and she really could have used that first strike. It's dropped her game now. She can make the spare and throw a strike on it for 267. Tammie Herman can bowl 269.
Striking out. Yeah. Got the spare? Yes, she does. So that's a nice recovery. Now looking, as Greg says, the strike.
So rolls this one through, manages to convert for the spare. That was huge. Now, really stack the pressure up here if you can. No, she doesn't. So the 257 final score. Tammie Herman needs the first strike here.
And now Michelle can do nothing but just sit and watch, wait. But the door is open, and it was opened in the 9th and then in 10 again. Tammie has responded with strikes in 8 and 9. Here's an all-important count. What is the first
one? This one sets it up now. Throws this strike, brings her total up to 254, and then needs anything more than a 3 count. Everything else out of your mind. Hit the spot, follow through.
Got it?
She's thin. She's thin on it, and Michelle Johnstone will move forward to play Sandi Anderson.
The 257 will stand up. The best that Tammie can do is 244. Wow.
Great comeback, though. Strikes in 8, 9, and the first one in 10. And just a little miscue on that second one for 239.
Tammie Herman will bowl the 239 as Michelle Johnstone sputters in 9 and 10, but survives a 257 to 239. And so Michelle Johnstone will play Sandi Anderson for the $10,000 first. Well, the West will be best in women's 5-pin play. It's Winnipeg against Regina. Sandi Anderson, Michelle Johnstone, and the winner to take home $10,000. Sandi Anderson will play first, bowled a marvelous 343 to defeat Barbra McLachlan's 314 in the opener.
Off the mark to the right with the first shot. Watch for her to stay nice and steady. It's the balance key for her at that line. She has quite a big slide at the end.
And manages to get the spare. I do notice one thing about Sandi when she delivers. It's she pulls up. She has that slide and then she comes up. And I think sometimes, where I say it is that sometimes she comes up too quickly, and ends up throwing the ball or dropping the ball.
Exactly. The timing is everything with her. So both bowlers off to the right with the first shots. And we get the first frame out of the way with both players with marks.
Great track by that ball to get the left corner. So spares for both players.
And that's what you want to see ideal, is that ball doesn't do too much hopping on the lane. It stays nice and flat and takes that pin out when it's really working well.
Nope. Again, misses to the right.
$10,000, $5,000. All going to take place in the next few minutes. So. And now there's the tap.
Yeah.
So it'll be an open frame for Michelle Johnstone.
Good cover to get 15.
She's just kind of clawed her way along through these matches. 205, 259, 257, nothing spectacular. But the timing has been perfect.
May have been fortunate there.
Little full. Good count on the first frame with 28. Opportunity for the spare. So far in the matches, she's 2 of 3 on this left corner. Just dropped down to 50%. And the chance that she had to get that run going suddenly to a halt.
$10,000 goes to the winner of the Canadian Bowling Championships in women's 5-pin play. Sandi Anderson from Winnipeg, Michelle Johnstone from Regina, separated by only 8 pins through the first 2, both with spares and both with opens.
Neither player with a strike yet. Sandi so far coming the closest, 2 left corners. The one in the second and now this one. And she struggled to try to pick up that spare back in the second. Struggles again with this one.
And now the ball is coming down the channel as well, so it'll have to be gotten. It might make it all the way down by the time she gets it. If you wait long enough, it'll roll right to you, Sandi.
It's coming.
Come on. Come on down there.
Judge of play, Fran Clark, out there.
Yeah.
Give it a little assist. So 2 corner spare misses. Very expensive right now for Sandi Anderson. Will they prove to be that expensive at the end of the match? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Potential of being $5,000 mistakes. And makes the 15. Still waiting for somebody to break out here, maybe string something together.
Marks, we're back in the first frame for each player. Spares. Okay, and a miscue here. needs to cover the 3-2 on the left, giving her a 12 count to stay within 11 pins of Sandi. There it is.
So both bowlers struggling just a little bit. I don't know whether it's the, you think? Yeah,
Start to squeeze
really,
the ball a little. Well, and the winner gets 10,000.
Right.
What will they be? Champion.
Mm-hmm.
We bring back the champion for another shot at another 10 grand. So there's a lot riding on this game.
Nice cover to get the spare. Michelle Johnstone, that's her second mark.
I think it's going to be first player to throw 2 strikes wins. This one manages to trip it. Watch how the ball bounces across there, though. She just barely snagged that right corner.
Could have easily bounced by the corner pin altogether.
Exactly.
Right?
So water has kind of crept to its own level here. Both players staying on a reasonably shallow pace.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Like dominoes, they fell. 1, 2, 3.
Manages to convert. Stays close enough that it just pushes these pins over there. And the last nudge results in the spare. And now it's just getting ugly because this is the 3rd miss in 5 frames for Sandi Anderson on the first ball. Michelle has already missed 3 times on her first 4 attempts. So both bowlers are struggling to find something. Just give me anything, some kind of faint hope. Good lift on this one.
Now back-to-back spares then for Anderson. So let's see if what you believe will be the determining factor. Somebody put together a couple of strikes. Strike here. Oh my goodness.
Every one of the previous competitors is sitting back now saying, oh man.
Yeah, but then you quickly say, then you should be out there. Somewhere along the line, you didn't play well enough. I hear that a lot. I mean, any sport. I could have done so much better.
Just a 10 count, 77 through 5 frames.
They're giving this away. Still looking for our first strike. Oh, come on.
It's on the nose.
So, all right, let's go back to what you said in previous weeks. Make an adjustment.
Got to do something.
Where are you going to go?
On Michelle's game right now with 3 out of 6 head pins and the misses, I'm going to move 3 or 4 boards to the right.
Through the uprights there.
Try a totally different line of attack. You've got to make a radical move here. Something that brings your focus back into the simple task of hitting the spot you're aiming for and following through. Get it back to basics. There's the 10 count. Now we'll see if Sandi Anderson can seize the opportunity. She's got a spare working. Michelle has an open frame in 6 as Sandi responds now. Watch for the lift on the lane. Good reach on it.
Oh, come on, ladies.
Snags the head pin, but really is picking up pinfall right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's her counting is better than Michelle's, but not by much. It's 26 difference, but I know.
got to win by 1.
I know. And they don't, next thing you're going to say, they don't ask you how, they just ask you if.
Numbers.
Who got the bigger check? That's all they want to know about. But
sure the women won't enjoy watching this first half of the game later on when they review it, just to see, you know, what did I do wrong? Use this as a learning tool.
So 113 to 87, 26 pin advantage for Sandi Anderson.
And if you ask Sandi right now that if she had 113 in the sixth, would she be up by 26 pins in the match? No way, she'd say.
No chance.
Got to complete 4 frames now.
Well, here you go. There's Barbra McLachlan. She loses. She bowls 314, loses to Sandi Anderson, who puts together a brilliant game at 343. And that is our first strike by any player, and it comes in the 7th.
Good time for it. Got the lead, throw the strike. She can't be caught if she strikes out. So here's the matchup. I said first player to get 2 strikes.
2 in a row, yep.
Michelle will have the first opportunity.
Yeah.
She's got 2.
Brought the crowd back into it as well. They were waiting for something to happen. This is a tough position to be in here, because whether she'll be able to respond. There's been nothing in the game so far from her that would suggest she could respond.
And she can't. She doesn't come up with the big shot. Very difficult spare now. And we're into the late frames of the game, when you need to keep the marks in order. She pulled that one right out of her hand.
Goodness.
Counts 18 on the strike. Michelle's 2 strikes at that time just bring her right back into the match.
Counts 8 in the 8th for a 139 total. My goodness.
Potential score just 229 if she can strike out.
Well, that's for her. How many is that? That's 2 for her in the game. 2 in the last 4 frames. Head pins.
Missed the 2 corner spares early. Back in 2 and 3. Disastrous frame in the 8th.
Nine isn't much better.
Compounds the error here. Needs to cover off the right 3-2 to have a hope of bowling a 196. Can't do that, a 10 count.
Gee whiz. You know, I look at this and I think to myself, how can Sandi Anderson bowl a 343 and then bowl this?
Part of the problem, nothing to match up against from Michelle Johnstone. That's part of it. Both bowlers struggling, and you just say, "Oh, all I need to do is." Well, Michelle got those 2 strikes. Gets the chop off for a great count.
That's a break.
Now moves ahead on the pinfall. She's facing an open frame. She's blown by it. So there's 20 pins separating the 2 bowlers if Michelle can pick up this last 3. 1 frame to play. She doesn't get it
again. My.
Michelle has to finish first. She can shut Sandi out. Right now, the best Sandi can do, 194. Michelle throws strike, spare, spare, strike.
Yes.
There's the strike. Needs a spare to shut out Sandi Anderson.
$10,000. Is this the ball for her? Now she needs that pin
Got to cover it.
for $10,000.
She's 50% on her right corners so far.
A $10,000
She
two
hasn't
count,
got
and
it.
she missed it.
Sandi Anderson can strike out to tie, and we're into OT for 10 grand.
Considering the kind of game it's been,
You don't want to go to overtime?
I probably see that in our future. But let's go back to what you said. The first person to put two strikes together, and that was Michelle in 7 and 8. So now, Sandi Anderson, what has she got to reply? Oh, and she leaves it no string.
No string. Michelle Johnstone is our champion.
That pin that she missed is the one that ends the chances for Sandi Anderson.
Final shot, relax and roll. 25 count for 174, make that.
174, Michelle Johnstone is our Canadian bowling champion, women's 5-pin winner. She'll take home $10,000. Sandi Anderson will leave with $5,000. It may not have been the very best we've seen, but what will really look good is that $10,000 on the winner's check, and the name on it says